The Toyo Tyres Mirage Series has been dominated this year by Dean Evans. Second overall last year, Evans took 2 straight wins in round 1 of this year's series at Wakefield Park. He repeated that performance at Queensland Raceway. So at the end of round 2, Evans was on top of the leaderboard with a straight 80 points and an impeccable record.
Well, these Mirages are real weapons, aren't they? About 130 kilowatts of power and the Myvec engine, which means that there's power right across the band.
Yeah, it's a good all-round package. There's decent powers. We're getting about 210 k's down the main straight here. First time we've actually used 5th gear all season. And the braking and suspension systems are fantastic. There's really not much that'll beat it in those components.
210 kilometres an hour from virtually a standard 1.6 litre car.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's good fun.
Round 3 of the series was at Eastern Creek, and at the start of the day we caught up with 2nd and 3rd place holders in the series, Yanis Derhams and Shane Brangwyn.
Well, Yanis Derhams, a strong competitor here in the Toyo Mitsubishi Mirage Series. How's it going this weekend?
Well, it seems to be a real struggle. I'm trying very hard to get speed out of the car, but it's a battle all the way.
It's incredibly close racing though, isn't it?
It is. I mean, you look at the top 5, I think it's all within sort of 0.2 or 0.3 of a second, so it's very tight, very competitive.
But it's not going too bad. Had a pretty ordinary weekend this weekend as far as qualifying goes. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. So starting from a pretty poor position this year, probably the lowest position I've had to start in before, so I'm hoping to make up for a good race.
But the series is so close and the cars are so close that one little sneeze certainly puts you towards the back of the grid.
Oh, it certainly does. It doesn't take much to sort of end up nowhere here, but hopefully common sense will prevail, and if you're quicker than some blokes you should be able to get past. It's a pretty open flowing track, so see what happens.
In the qualifying session we jumped on board the series leader in his Momo Mirage, Dean Evans, and got him to talk us through a hot lap of the Eastern Creek track.
Absolutely flat in 5th gear as we go down the main straight, about 210 k's an hour as we hold it flat in 5th through turn 1. Gets a bit of a bump and moves around a bit, but if you can carry the speed through there, you make up a lot of time. Into turn 2, brake just after the 100 metre board. You've really got to double apex this turn, get it in early, let it drift out wide, and then grab the apex again. Grab 3rd gear on the exit, flat through here in 3rd gear. This isn't a problem at all as we go over the top of the hill, and grab 4th gear. As it goes over the top of the hill, you get a little bit of air as the car gets light, and brake just after the 50 metre board. You want to tuck it in tight as possible through here. You lose a little bit of speed, but you make it up on the next corner if you can get an early apex as we hit the curbs on the entry. Let it run out wide in 3rd gear as we go up the top around the back of Corporate Hill. Straight line the braking through this little kink here. Back to 2nd gear, early apex on the curbs and let it run out wide and grab 3rd gear because you run out of revs fairly quickly. Round the Corporate Hill, we're still in 3rd gear as we tuck it in. Gets really light through here, it has a nice big 4-wheel drift. You let it run out wide into the turn 9 hairpin, one of the tightest corners on the track. Brake just after the 50 metre board, back to 2nd gear. Really late apex, you want to try and get on the power as early as possible because this is one of those back straights which is rather important. Back up to 4th gear, it's another complex of turns that you've really got a straight line braking, so late apex, stamp on the brakes, squeeze them as early as possible, get off them rather quick to flick it through the kink. Bit of a left foot brake here, get the nose in, get it on all the curbs a little bit, but get on the power early because this is back on the main straight. Let it drift out wide as possible, grab 4th gear just in the exit, and the trick for a quick lap is to try and draft or slipstream as we're doing to this car in front. So pick up about 5-10 k's an hour into 5th gear, and that's a hot lap of Eastern Creek Raceway. Hope you enjoy the race.
It was David Borg, not Evans, who was fastest in qualifying, putting Borg on pole for the first race.
Well, David Borg, a surprise fastest qualifier for round 3 of the Toyo Mirage Series at Eastern Creek.
Sorry, John, I still find it funny myself. I was lucky enough to set my time before the headwind came up, and there were some guys I think who went quicker afterwards, but because of the conditions didn't suit them, I ended up on pole, so yeah, I was pretty lucky.
These incredible winds we've had in Sydney over the weekend must have been hairy out there on the track when they were blowing.
Yeah, you could feel them against the car, but into a headwind it slows you down a little bit into turn 1, which it's the scariest corner on the track and makes it a little bit easier, so it didn't faze me too much though.
In qualifying, Bill Roach blew a tyre. 2 new tyres at the start of race 1 saw Roach relegated to the back of the grid, denting his chances of being a front runner. Yanis Derhams and Andrew Taplin jostled for positions early, exchanging paint on lap 1. At the end of the first lap, it was situation normal with Evans out in front. Derhams and Taplin were trailing in second and third respectively. Evans stayed way out in front, and at the checkered flag he led the race ahead of Giannis Derhams, who took second, with Taplin in third, with newcomer Kurt Beater, Nesbitt and newcomer Gartner rounding out the field. Eastern Creek saw a number of new entries to the Toyo Mirage Series. Before the second race, we caught up with some of them to find out what motivated the move to the one-make category.
Why did you choose the Toyo Mirage Series?
Just because it's such a close-knit, close and tight series. Everybody is basically very competitive, and it's coming down to tenths of seconds rather than seconds in between each class. It's very, very close and very tight. It's good.
I think one of the fabulous things about the series is that every car is really the same. From experience racing in a laser series, it really was, not every car was the same. They were supposed to be, but they weren't. But these cars are absolutely, everyone is the same car. They all do the same lap times. You don't need an experienced crew with you, and so they are great for a young and inexperienced person to come in and show themselves how good they are.
Been sponsoring a Formula 1 tunnel boat of Adam Fairburn for near on 8 years now. We've sort of ventured away from that and helped Dominic Beninka run his Porsche around Bathurst there 1 year, and been sponsoring Peter Hackett for a couple of years now in his Formula 3 to help him kick-start his career, if you like. And thought I'd try and do it myself.
Probably looked easy from the other side of the fence.
It certainly did. I didn't realise how hard it was.
Race 2 again saw Dean Evans take an early lead over Taplin. From the start, Gartner battled out with Nesbitt for third place, but Nesbitt missed a gear, allowing Gartner to get the pass. Gartner went wide towards the end of the first lap, losing third spot to Giannis Derhams. So by the end of the first lap, it was again Evans out in front, leading over Taplin with Derhams in third. Taplin put the pressure on Evans throughout the rest of the lap, but between turn 1 and 2, Evans went wide in an excursion which almost cost him the lead. Testament to his professionalism and experience, Evans retained control, pulling out of it and keeping first spot. Evans wasn't so lucky on lap 2. Slipstream by Taplin on the main straight, Taplin was making a pass on the first corner when Evans lost control. This time, Evans lost the lead, not only to Taplin, but also to Derhams, who slipped through into second. For the remaining laps, the pressure was on for Evans to chase down and catch Taplin and Derhams. Taplin's lead and his luck ran out on lap 3. With gear trouble down the main straight, he lost the front spot to both Derhams and Evans. Taplin's problems were terminal, putting him well out of the running. So for the last lap, it was all up to Evans to chase down Derhams. Full throttle, the two were locked bumper to bumper, action all the way. And on the final run down the main straight, Evans slipstreamed Derhams, hitting the finishing line a split second behind. So race 2 went to Derhams, with Evans taking second, and an excellent race for newcomer Richard Gartner, who crossed the line in third. At the end of round 3, Evans still dominates the series. He sits a full 32 points ahead of Derhams, with Brangwyn and Taplin sitting an equal third, but well down on points.